Hello everyone, my name is Chris. Welcome back to my hobby blog. Today I'm talking about book 3 of Fits in the Fool trilogy. Also book 16 of Realm of the Elderlings by Hobb. And this is Assassin's Fate. This is the copy that I have, the classic covers. And it's been a few days since I finished, and I feel like I'm one of the Studio Ghibli characters at the end of the movie after all the conflict has finished and everything's done, and they're just sitting there kind of just deliberating and just sitting in silence and thinking about everything that has happened on the journey. And this book especially was one that I felt like was such a book that made me do that. Like, I haven't finished a series in a very long time that was as emotionally investing and just so emotional for me, and so many amazing characters, amazing themes, amazing settings, amazing prose, amazing creatures. I love the dragons in this series, but the way that this book wraps up everything in the previous 15 books was so awesome. It was so nice to see so many characters from previous books that we haven't seen in a long time interact with Fitz specifically, because the end of book 2 was definitely a cliffhanger, and book 3 just starts right off from that cliffhanger and continues. And it was just such an insane book for me because I started Realm of the Elderlings during COVID, during that summer in 2020. And I remember I didn't really I wasn't as invested into Fitz the first 2 books of that trilogy. And it was book 3 that really kind of exploded sort of my expectations for the series. And book 16, Fool's Fate, or Assassin's Fate, I'm sorry, was the kind of book where, as I was reading it, I was going slower because I didn't want to finish it. And this book was definitely that. I was just in love with everything. It made me cry many times because there were a lot of character deaths. There was a lot of sudden moments that happened that I was not expecting. And I love the series. I think the series is top 3 easily, in my opinion. I want to do a tier ranking of all the books at some point here soon, but I'm just really kind of blown away. I'm still thinking about the book. I loved the pacing of it, but I do think the ending was a little lackluster in places, but I think that's just because of my expectations. I was expecting something huge, and I got what I was sort of predicting, which is fine. I think this book is still like a 9.5 out of 10. Near perfect, in my opinion, but there were some issues I had with the ending. And knowing that there are no more books after this, although when I was at Dragonsteel a year and a half ago, Robin Hobb did announce that she was continuing some smaller books within the world. I don't remember which character she said the POV would be, but I'm really hoping it's the daughter of Fitz, obviously. I think that would be a really, really great choice, and I can't wait to read those books. But I think I will go into spoilers now because it's really hard to talk about book 16 out of 16 of a series without any spoilers. So you've been warned. I was really shocked about how just sort of hard-headed Fitz was throughout this trilogy. And I think every decision and stupid decision that he made in this trilogy early on, especially in book 1, I think all of that came to a head in this book because throughout this trilogy, the Fool has been trying to get Fitz to go to Clary's. I think that's how you say it, maybe Clary, I don't know. It's the city that all of the whites have come from. The people that are like the Fool, who have the prophesying power and being able to look into the future and kind of see what sort of things and people are driving fate, and using that knowledge that they know from that and steering it to the direction that they want to. I loved all that stuff. I really enjoyed it, but I was really disappointed at how much of the book that B was really just sort of sitting around. I mean, I love B. I loved her in this book especially, but I felt like there was too many things happening around her that she had no control interacting with. And it was really awesome towards the end of the book when she finally kills Dwalia and the other sort of four major powers, because there's four major majors within this sort of organization that all had a part in torturing the fool. And B gets her revenge or gives justice to the fool by killing both of two of the four. And the remaining two decide to make a partnership, and it's a very shaky partnership. And then Fitz shows up and just sort of stumbles through that city because things are just going insane. Very unexpected events are happening. And I was really wanting more with the city. We got enough, but I felt like it was a little underdeveloped. Like, I wish we had seen glimpses of the city throughout Realm of the Elderlings, but there's also the fact that Robin Hobb did not plan to write this many books. She was just going trilogy by trilogy. That's what she said in interviews, and so it is kind of understandable that we didn't get as much with the Fool and his background as we did in this trilogy, because it was not planned out from book one. You know, she was not an outliner. She just went with what was natural, is what she said. And I loved everything that happened away from Fitz. I will say, like, B, I think, was just such a strong character throughout this trilogy, and I absolutely loved sort of that moment when she's able to send a message to Fitz and be like, "Hey, like, I'm actually alive," and Fitz actually hears that and tells her, like, go away, because that's the point when Shade, Fitz's trusty old advisor, he is basically about to die, and nobody knows this. He is just skilling all over the place, taking people over and making them just want to get lost in the skill current. And that's when Fitz kind of pushes B away, and then Ketrican, I believe, gives Shade sort of the nullifying herbs in order to make him stop, in order to just get him to not make anybody sort of incompetent, like, because you get lost and you're just completely unable. You're just not a person anymore. You're kind of like a forged, but even worse than a forged. But I was really kind of shocked that Shade died just kind of out of nowhere. And I was very, very emotional during that chapter, because Fitz is just sort of talking, I think, to Thick or somebody. And he's on the ship, and he's skilling back and forth with Thick. And they're talking about Shade, and then there was that really sad line that was like, Shade's apprentice, like, wept that night. And it really killed me reading that line, and I loved it. Robin Hobb is just such a great author. Like, it's really, really impressive. But I was really wanting more with his death. I think it was a really great death. It was very emotional, of course, but I do wish Fitz was able to connect with him, like, one more time. I don't know. But yeah, very emotional. What else? I also loved having Night Eyes with B. Night Eyes with B was just so awesome. Him guiding her and, giving her the help that she needed. And then him reuniting with Fitz was awesome. And then the final uniting of Fitz, Night Eyes, and the Fool into one being, basically, one essence, before Fitz dissolves himself into the stone. And I loved that chapter. I was very emotional. Again, this was a very emotional book. And it was these two moments specifically that got me the most tears because it was just so beautiful. It was just like Tawny Man, where it was just the writing was so crisp. It was so deep and layered, and it was just awesome. I loved it. I'm trying not to cry. But I just loved the ending. And I can't wait. I feel like the ending was a little quick, though, after Fitz died, because, I mean, that was it. He was the main POV, and we don't really have any story after that. But I do like how we kind of ended on a cliffhanger of, like, maybe we will continue to follow B's life. But I think the entire realm of the Elderlings was about Fitz and the Fool. And maybe that's why Robin Hobb took a long break. I think it's been about a decade and a half since she finished the series. And I just loved it. I think this is my second favorite series. I don't know, like, in terms of the trilogies within Realm of the Elderlings, I don't know where this one fits yet. I'll have to do a tier list, I think, of that series. So that's 2 videos I have to do that I have promised. Is a rank. Excuse me, I got hiccups. Is a ranking of all of the books and a ranking of the miniseries within Realm of the Elderlings. But that's really all I have to talk about story-wise. Like, it was just such a beautiful book. There was many points where I did not want to finish the book because this is kind of like the final Robin Hobb book I have, and that's it. And I have no more Fitz to look forward to. That's the most depressing thing to me, and I'm so happy to have finished it. So, wow, what a journey. What a journey this has been. And thank you all for watching. Please have a great rest of the day, and I hope to see you at the next one. Bye.